Well, welcome everybody. Today's Social Saturday chat is live. Our co-hosts are running around all over the world at the moment, and will be joining us as and when they are in reception areas. But I didn't want to delay any further. I wanted to get this conversation started. So thank you everybody for joining us wherever you are. For those of you that are in the know, in the special Social Saturday chat update regular chat group on LinkedIn. There is a link for you to join me up here on stage right now if you want to. But this week is going to be a little bit different because we are talking about networking with purpose. So we typically run our networking events at the end of every month, which we will still be doing. But today is more about how do you network with purpose. So how do you connect with the right people? How do you find your target audience? How do you set up opportunities to collaborate? Because in today's world with AI, we have so many disconnected systems and processes and automation that you're not really sure if you're talking to a human most of the time. Even in the last few weeks, I've been getting a lot of phone calls where initially it sounds like a human, and then very quickly I can figure out, hold on, this is a AI voice automated call. And even when you ask it, am I speaking to a human? It will say, yes, Mac, you are speaking to a human. But it then keeps going around in circles when you start asking it a bit more specific questions. Anyway, today is about real connection. So let us know, where are you joining us from? I know that one of our famous audience participants may be a little bit quieter today. Hey, Meryl, good to see you, my friend. Where is everybody? Exactly, where is everybody? Well, Martha's busy traveling. She's on the road. Felipe has a few things on the go. Joel's being shy for some reason. He's just hiding backstage. And Zion has had a load of things on the go. He was live last night, and he may be able to join us today. But I find myself in this bizarre situation for the first time, I think, in 4 years. And they always have my back, so I have theirs. But welcome to the conversation. Meryl, thank you very much for the comments. Hey, David, hailing from a very hot London. I tell you what, it's sweltering in London, and the humidity doesn't help. But then I can empathize with those of you in the US as well, because I remember earlier this time last year, Joel and I were in the US, and I was in my hotel with aircon, and I thought, this is lovely. And I walked out of the hotel, and it literally felt like I'd walked out and somebody opened the oven door, and I just got hit by this heat. And I went from being a very cool, chilled Mac to being soaked head to toe and literally peeling my shirt off me. And I thought, well, that can't be a great impression, as we were on our way to a meeting. And I ended up having to go back in, get a towel, and wrap a towel with cold water around my neck just so that I could survive. So let us know how things are for wherever you are around the world. Today's conversation may be a little bit shorter than normal, but we'll see how it goes, because there are major sporting events. Well done to Spain, who got through to the semi-finals. So that's for Felipe's sake, because he was backing Spain. Right now, South Africa are playing rugby against Scotland. And hey, I'm a big South African rugby fan, but I'm here making sure that I'm sharing the stage with you guys. And then later I will be supporting England. I mean, 25 years in England, I better support them. Not sure if they'll kick me out if I don't. But um, who else do we have? Tom Cullen, Lake Country, Canada. Welcome, my friend. I hope you're getting like a nice cool breeze off that lake. And we have a few other people commenting there as well, coming from YouTube. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to add the David Pushkin /007 / I don't know, he's got the voice that you can just sit back and listen to all day. So, Mr. Pushkin, how are you coping in the sweltering heat?
Oh man, 007's a bit of a breach considering you're Sean Connery, mate. Yeah, not bad. It's like about hello. It is Mikey Toasty over here, over in London, mate. But yeah, things are good, mate. This sounds like a very interesting subject around networking.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the things that I got to learn at a very early age, but it's one of those things as well where you don't know what you don't know, and unless and some people may find as we go along with this conversation that some of this we've been doing naturally, and some of us are exposed to the right people at the right times that kind of rub off on us and we pick things up from them. But other people are just, they've never been exposed to networking with purpose and intention, and therefore it's something that they literally have to learn as they go along. And some people never get the opportunity, and therefore they struggle with networking and just never feels like it's coming naturally. And I bet you there are many of you in the audience who have been networking and have felt extremely uncomfortable, whether it's online or face to face. And it just feels like, when you go to a party and you don't know anybody and you kind of float around the drinks bar, the food snack area, because you're not quite sure how to approach anybody and which clique you can and can't infiltrate. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this conversation rolls today. Leslie Flowers. Oh, Leslie, that conversation you had the other day answering loads of questions around how we need to think differently and reprogram our minds. There's so much wealth and knowledge that you bring to this platform. So for those of you who aren't following already, make sure you go and follow, and then go and listen to a weekly show here on LinkedIn, because it just brings like tons of value, but is always put in such a simple way, and it's something she's been studying for decades. So when you want an expert in your corner that you can learn from, definitely go and check out Leslie. So David, tell me quickly, when it comes to the topic of networking with purpose, what comes to mind for you?
It all depends what your purpose is. For me, it's all about what you would like to achieve. You've talked about this previously, Mac. You go to these events and you just go and get business, collect the business cards, and nothing comes from it. You've got to be exactly. You have to be intentional in what you want to do. What do you want? What do you want from me? What is the interaction you like to have? Is it just another tick box, somebody on your list, or do you want to make a genuine connection? So I think it's all about the plan. It's all about the plan. What would you like to do? What is your intention? How are you going to follow up on that? And what are you looking for? And how do you approach that? Again, friends who do not know me, David Pushkin, Chief Encouragement Officer, lover of all things accessibility, and support of disability advocacy. You just need to know what you want to do, who you want to be around, what's the network, who are the people you'd like to talk to, and just being intentional. Don't make it 20 questions. Try and be unique.
I love that you put there. You kind of stopped me in my tracks, because I was on one wavelength, and then when you mentioned the 20 questions, It just reminded me of so many networking events that I've been to where people are not, they don't know what the intention is, they don't know the purpose, all the things you've just mentioned. Um, but then they go into this like 20 question game show. Uh, what do you do? Where are you from? Why do you do it? How can you help me? Do you know any of these people? Or not even that clear. What's the best kind of introduction or kind of kickoff at a networking event that has made you laugh, David?
Hmm. Someone doing like this one guy was like, he was like just doing Disney. He did this thing called Finding Nemo where he just started talking about just keep swimming, and I was like, okay, this is, it's just look, we don't want people who are just gonna, or who are robots. You want somebody who's unique. You want to be so uniquely around somebody who is not going to just be, hi, my name is David, I am this and this is what I do. If you want to know what I do, go and look at my LinkedIn profile. If you want to know, it's like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? It's like people, we're not defined by our titles. You want to see something unique. And, obviously you've talked about this previously, Matt. Things like, maybe having doing a funny voice or something, or wearing something that's very unique, like a, bright tie or something, and kind of maybe even zeroing in that and saying, hey, that's a nice cravat you've got there. Like, where did you get that from? It sounds very, surface level, but or just asking random questions. Not the, if you could have dinner with one person, dinner with life, it would be, that's cliche. It's all about purpose, or if you're a dolphin, porpoise.
uh, uh, David, you forget I'm a visual thinker. So even with my eyes closed, I I'm think cartoons. That's what happens in the back of my mind. So when you start using porpoise,
Porpoise,
um, and,
porpoise.
um, and things like that, I'm thinking of a very animated dolphin right now. Um, but you know, ah, but when it comes to networking, all these things that you mentioned, there are so many quirks and things that people have been taught. Um, but one of the things I find ironic is that very few people are taught to. Everybody's taught to stand out, have this one-liner or something, or they going to the boring of "Hi, what's your name? My name is. This is what I do." Um, so it's kind of extremes, but very few people are taught to be themselves and be authentic, because that's what makes us the individuals that we are. And yes, we need to stand out, but when you're trying to be somebody else, then that just becomes another mask or another facade or another role that you have to play, as opposed to being able to be authentically yourself. Um, which I find, each one of us have had our own journeys and therefore shaped the unique self that we are. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's all about, you're never going to know that you have a commonality until you have a commonality, until you have the conversation. Felipe talked about this all the time. He was saying how we all know at SSC family that, he's a huge Marvel and, a huge Marvel fan and like a DC fan. But you're not going to know that and by just looking at his profile, and it's having those connections and getting into authentic conversations, saying, oh, or, oh, you're really into dogs. Oh, I'm into dogs. Just kind of finding that commonality and finding things that you can bond over. I mean, again, we've talked about this previously. Most people want to talk about themselves, but it's how you engage that conversation and get people to talk and open up. And like I said, it's authenticity. It's all about authenticity. Like, if you don't want to just see a title, you want to know the human behind the title.
Well, it's interesting because when you talk about when you think about LinkedIn as an example, and people hiding behind the title. Um, that opportunity for us to use our headline to introduce ourselves, who we are, what we do, who we help, as opposed to, hey, I'm the CEO of this one-man band, but I want you to think that I'm a corporate giant. It comes to mind. Um, and hey, our stage is popping all of a sudden. Everybody is jumping. We just got Joe jumping on. We've got Leslie joining us, and I'm going to bring them up on stage in a second. But before I do that, David, what's your one tip? You are somebody who on a regular basis actually, and I mean like in real life, messages people, either sends a voice note or contacts and reaches out to really get to know your network. Um, what is the one piece of advice you would give people that are trying to figure out where they're at on LinkedIn? Maybe they just post, or maybe they are one of those 90% that literally they just scroll, but they never comment, they never like, they never DM. What's your one piece of advice for people to get out of their comfort zones to potentially connect with that next person who could change their lives?
Whatever you just said, reverse it. That's literally. You know what? Again, we're all human beings. Like I was like that when I first got on LinkedIn. Like, oh, you can't connect with this person. They're a CEO. Oh, it's so important. We're just humans, and that's my one piece of advice. Just anticipate that it will be a yes, but expect it might be a no. Reach out to people. Reach out to places. Reach out to networks that are not really your thing, because that's how you get around people. Like, if everybody looks the same, then we get bored. I'm in loads of different things that I would never even think of. I literally sat in a networking group one day where the guy was pitching sustainable ideas in Africa. This was a group that just was a friend of a friend said, "Hey, you should come to this." You never know what you're going to get into. You never know where you're going to get into and what you're going to get into. Beautiful things happen when you say yes. That's my advice to you.
Oh, I like that one. Can get you into trouble when you say yes and end up in a room you're not quite sure what you're doing, or if you want to be in that room, but at least you then have the choice to leave the room.
Yeah. The right choice.
David, I love that. We have Joe. Now, I hope you're going to behave yourself. No, that's too boring. Welcome to the stage, my friend. So good to have you, and Leslie as well. Leslie, I only had 15, 20 minutes to come onto your little event the other day, and it was the perfect timing for me. So thank you. Like I say, you attract the right things at the right time. And sometimes you just need to be open to listening, and yeah, I'm lucky to have the people that surround me like yourself.
You asked really good questions, and really appreciate your being there, because I know you don't attend that often, and I appreciate all your kind words. May we talk about intention? Or Joe was next, I do believe, and thank you for your kind words.
Well, we are definitely going to come back to you, and yes, we are going to talk about intention.
Because he is generally very long-winded, Joe is. It's not always easy to get a word in edgewise, so please don't forget that I'm here.
We will not. Joe,
okay.
Well, there are many Joes that come on here, so who knows? Joe, I'm going to come to you, and what is your thoughts, or what are your thoughts when you think of networking with purpose, and what would you say, because you do a lot of chat shows and talking and co-hosting, what's your piece of advice to people when it comes to having a purpose as opposed to just going live and seeing where it goes? Because you're just going to talk for an hour. What? Not you specifically. That came out wrong. He's gone. Oh no, his background made him come back again.
Got my
But no,
head down.
seriously, what are your thoughts on that? Because I know you've had some interesting conversations that I've been in the background just listening to.
I will state that it is twofold. The purpose mostly is about connecting with people, but also seeing, because what I'm looking for, which is what the intent is, being a problem solver, analyst, working in the IT industry for so long, over 2 decades, in this business that I've actually built up, that's a merger of 2 other businesses, has actually evolved, lack of a word, change. And even though it's got 50 years background, it's always me probing to find out what are people actually either failing to do, and what have they done already, or have they approached any solutions, even in business or health or other directions. And even though we've had a lot of transitions in the past 3 years alone, not knowing what the heck's going to actually come up next year, everybody's got a take, perspective, idea, theory, but until it happens, we won't know. The other thing I also approach with is active listening as well, which I know you were concerned earlier. That's why I laughed, because I'm like, yes, I am going to behave myself, because I'm trying to be more of an actual active listener, to listen more than just giving input and processing the information I gather from people, of their input, feedback, experiences, encounters, because they have value. I'm not going to take anyone away from their actual self-respect in order to actually share whatever they think. In an earlier meeting, it even got practically religious, but not intended to be that way, because I was speaking on AI, but then it got into biblical direction, which I hardly ever follow anymore because I'm more spiritual. So the intent I have in my purpose is really sharing a message of hope in business, personal life, growth, so forth, and how we actually interact. I repeat it kind of in different ways. You saw my messaging.
Sorry, our screen is popping again with people joining us. And
getting popular.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. That take, if you can repeat those last few words that you mentioned with regards to the business side of things as well, and the intention, because I want people to kind of really listen.
No, and if I do speak too fast, forgive me, because I do actually get when I start going off, it's partially emotional excitement, as well as like I'm motivated. When I get motivation itself is why I tend to speak faster. I actually, as a kid, grew up as a mumbler because of the fact I spoke low and fast. Even though my family, loud, still speaks like roadrunners. But yeah, the take itself on the purpose for why I do these speed networkings, which I've adapted to learn the approach, concise my message down to 1 minute instead of a 10-minute talk. It's all been adapting. That helps me to also understand how to approach, but also listen more. And sign language I use to know or to learn. And that gesture itself is gathering the information, putting it in to actually then process it. And our good term is discernment. The discernment is really the story of the individual or their business. And if there's flaws, find them, and to then later on correct them to improve, because that's their goal as well. Well, I want to support the goal to go forward and climb. To me, it's like the metaphor to climbing the hill. Are you stumbling because you're getting boulders, pebbles, too sandy, whatever that path is? That's where we give you maybe a wooden path, a stairway, maybe a rope, something to clear up the path and make it easier, so it won't be so hard. Yes, we have AI, but AI is not the only answer. It's also us and our creativity and how we work together, our resources.
Absolutely.
Does that give it more substance for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's for me, it comes down to, firstly, that thing that you spoke about, the listen versus speak, but then also those tools that you then put into place, because it's like a sledgehammer doesn't fix every problem. Um, you know, it's
Or jackhammer.
or a jackhammer. It's understanding which tools,
Mhm.
and a lot of the time when we go networking, it's not about what can we take away only, or the love of our own voice of going in and I must speak to a lot of people and collect a lot of cards or tell everybody about me, because the reality is, by over speaking, the chances are you might be standing next to somebody or be in the room with somebody who has the answer or access to that tool that can take you to the next step. But because of the love of your own voice and you weren't being willing to learn and listen to them,
Mhm.
you've lost that opportunity. So, with that, before I go to the wonderful Felipe who has joined us, I am going to go to Leslie, because I don't know why, but I have a feeling that Leslie has something when it comes to that word intention that you mentioned, that is something somebody in our audience needs to hear today. So, Leslie, I'm coming straight to you.
Hi, Mac. Thank you so much. I do have something to share. And it is something I've learned and used in intentional networking that I'd like to share with you to see if this is something you can do. And for those who don't know me, you could say that thought dynamics is my background, and I am a metacognitive, which is a person who is able to observe several different ways of thinking and then selecting and watching yourself think and then selecting which view on the dime you're going to bring into conscious awareness for others. So I tried this years and years ago, and it's called setting the context with intention. And I used to do lunch and learns, and I shared this and did lots of networking. So that was in-person networking. So one of the things, particularly with people who are not comfortable with networking, or they're rather introverted, or they're new at it, um, I would share this particular way of thinking before you arrive at any networking event. As you're driving there, you decide, what is the intention for me being here, for me trading time? What is it that I want? There's your intention. So let's say that you want to meet one or two potential referral partners, or maybe you want to meet someone to collaborate with, whatever it is that you want. Before you step into the room, and as you're getting there, you say, I will listen for, which is listening for, which points to what Joe was saying, anyone who is speaking about what I intend. Now, when you walk in, first of all, you've moved to a different thought frequency because you are focused on the intention. Two partners, one referral partner, whatever it is, one thing that you want to walk away with. And it's the most important thing. It is the goal, the purpose of your being there. Now, what happens is, no matter how big the room is, and you've probably experienced this as well, no matter how many people are milling around, you will hear someone across the room talking about your goal. It's like a tuning fork over the cacophony of all the conversations. Whomever in the room is speaking around your intention, you will hear, because you've moved from a general, unclear thought frequency that everybody's on, right? It's like an overload of a sensory overload onto a very specific thought frequency, and only people in the room will match that frequency. Now, I did this, a lunch and learn, frequently. And I had a woman who was extremely introverted. She had never heard this. And she came to 2 of the lunch and learns. And at the second one, she said, I tried this. She said, it worked perfectly. I started talking to myself about what it is I want. And I focused on that. And I was listening for anything that was around that intention. And sure enough, she met the referral partner that she was looking for. So setting the physical and mental context intentionally on one laser focused thing will move you, and you don't need to know how, the why or the why really, will move you onto a unique thought frequency where other people will likely, maybe only one person in the whole room or 2, but you'll hear their voice get louder. It will get louder over everyone else in the room. So that's a tip. It's kind of something fun that I like to do. And that's a great way, by the way, to win door prizes too. So thank you for
I wish they did door prizes over here. In other countries and other places I've been, yes. In the UK, it's like a nominee. It's like it just a lot of it is boring, very same.
But
And
Mac, let me tell you, I got so good at this that people accuse me of cheating at lunch. Because the red ticket, right, that has the numbers on the edge, right? So as I sign in, I say to myself, this is the winning ticket, and I memorize the last 3 letters, and that's all I think about. And when they go to dip their hand in the jar, I see them, I visualize them, no kidding, pulling out my card. And I have won a number of door prizes by doing that. So, to your point, and the whole conversation about intention, there's more to it than just picking the thing you want. It's beginning to get really focused and very clear. And what will it do for you? Because it'll make you feel good. So, thank you for letting me share. And I really hope that someone else tries that because it's a lot of fun.
oh well, firstly, I've got to just before I go to my wonderful co-hosts who've just joined me, and I know they're on the road, so I'm gonna need to make sure I get to them fairly quickly. But a few things that I just want to do observations, Leslie, that um, from my past experience, but also knowing what you've just said, the importance of having that little time, whether it's a minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, before you walk into a room. Because what I find is most people in life are just rushing from one point to the next, and they know they're going to need to go to the networking, but they're not. They say every day is a present, and being present is something that very few people do. They're always thinking about what's gone wrong yesterday, what they need to get done for tomorrow, and very few people are in the moment. And therefore, actually taking their time to be intentional of, I'm going to be there, and what is it that I am going to bring to the party while I'm there? What is it that I'm looking for? Who am I looking at connecting with? Being intentional um, is such a powerful act, because there's that old saying of, if you don't ask, you don't get. But I want to be a little bit more specific with that. Is if you don't ask the right question, you get what you get. Because I find a lot of people will say, so who can I introduce you to? Who can I help? And most people are not clear or intentional about who those people are, because they've rushed from one place to the next. They get there, they want to swap business cards, and say to themselves that they'll be ready later. When they follow up, they'll be in a better mental state, or have some time to kind of digest what the hell's going on in their life, and they can then make sense of it at that point. But the reality is, like you were saying, about having that intent of listening for that thing that you want to um, that goal of and outcome of somebody speaking about that thing that you intentionally want to have on your radar, if you don't allow yourself to be present, you can't listen for that because it'll be overshadowed by all the noise of the stuff in the past and the future. And it's such an important thing that what Leslie said. And if you're watching the replay, go back, just listen slowly, pause and reflect and think about how that impacts you, whether it's today or moving forward. Now, with that, before I go to the wonderful Chris, Felipe, welcome to the room. Martha, welcome to the room. Felipe, tell us what's happening in your world, my friend, and I hope you're not melting away wherever you are.
I'm actually in the middle of the ocean right now, and so, all right, I just wanted to say that I've been waiting patiently.
Anyway.
I lost Wi-Fi and cellular today, so I didn't think I was going to make it. And as I'm on the beach, all of a sudden the phone started pinging. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call them. And then I was waiting, and it got very hot. So I came into the ocean, as you can see, and waves are hitting me. But with this whole thing of intent, I want to share this. One of the things that we have is we tend to talk a lot. I know I talk a lot. I like to share a lot. And that's why I created Flip-Based Five, was because I wanted the people to walk away with 3 to 5 ideas that they would remember, because I know if I kept on going, they would forget what I said. So that, when you come up with whatever your theory is, it ends up helping you be more intentful with what you want to do. Let me know if the wave's going to hit me behind me, by the way. And so, and it's one of those things where if you do that with intent, you're going to be remembered, and your message will be remembered more because you thought about it beforehand. And the last thing I'll say is, every once in a while, sprinkle a little bit of surprise, like trying to come live in the middle of the ocean, and see if that helps people remember you too. But I hope people think about that, is what's the message you want to get across, and how can you get across in a simple, short, brief way so that people remember it. So with that being said, I'm going to say hello and goodbye. I might be listening, but I'm going to get out of the water so my phone doesn't get wet. So far, it's not gotten wet yet.
Felipe, you don't understand what joy it gives me to see you actually taking some time and being in the ocean, my friend.
It's very nice. I'm very lucky.
Very grounded, Felipe. Applause.
Thank you so much for actually thinking of us while you're in the water, my friend. Go and stay blessed, and love to the family, and thank you for being here. And well done to Spain, by the way.
Hell yeah, viva España! Sorry, US didn't do so well, but at least I still have Spain.
Hey, well, we'll see where it goes next. And for all of you that are listening, thank you so much for everybody that's been commenting. So good to see you, Christy, and of course, Meryl, Tom, Lucia from Canada. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't know why she hasn't come up and said hello yet. Leslie has gone, but hey, where's don't tell me Martha was on here twice. Hold on, she's coming back. Okay, there's Martha. She is back for a second, so we're going to grab her attention while we have it. Felipe, we'll chat later, my friend. Martha, hello, how are you? What's happening? Oh no, we're getting the wheel of death.
Oh, can you hear me? I don't know.
There she is.
Oh, good. I've been on the road from Monterey. I'm in SoCal doing a road trip with Teddy and my son, and exploring and visiting new cities. And we're not on the road right now. I had to pull over. My son's
okay, so I'll move then.
Yeah, he's into cars, so he's at this like car event pop-up where they come and show off their cars, and he's into this stuff. It's super boring to me. I'm here to support my son. As you can tell, he's not here. He's out there looking right now. And we're going to head over there pretty soon. But I wanted to just show up. And I know some of my dear friends that are probably here said, just go and enjoy your time. And I told them, being part of Social Saturday Chat is part of my life. You know, it's family. And so I love being here with you guys. And I just seen Felipe in the water, and then I went out. So that looks beautiful. And I know we're talking about networking, and that's what we do. We come and network. I love inviting friends to come and join us here on LinkedIn. I always invite them to come to Social Saturday Chat. And I think that's the best thing that we can do is spread the love, show love to one another. I'll pass it back over to you.
Well, yeah, I just love the fact that even when our co-hosts are busy and doing crazy other things and life is happening, they take a beat to just come on and go, hey, how's it going? And yeah, really appreciated. Please drive carefully, and and stay safe on the road. And yeah, one final thought from you, if you can, Martha. When it comes to, you've been doing a lot of networking recently. Um, oh, um, puppies in the house. When it comes to networking with purpose, because you've been very intentional recently, where you've actually met people face to face in real life as well as at various events. What is the one thing that has kind of been your guide when it comes to networking with purpose, as opposed to just going to an event?
Yeah, that's a good question. Surprisingly, I don't know. I think I've said this before. I am a little introverted. So I do get a little fear sometimes, or my confidence level drops. Putting myself out there, you can tell by the voice shake, the nerves and the look, like I don't know what they're thinking of me, and it does happen. But I've learned that, like Leslie said here, I heard her share a little bit. um, Go with intention, but also like be bold. Sometimes I can be a little aggressive too, Mac, with the way I want to present something. But I recently was doing some advocacy at the hospital, and some of the social workers came in, and I offered to teach them what I know voluntarily. And so some of them actually connected with me here on LinkedIn. So I hope they're watching. And, that's just putting yourself out there. If you know how to do something and you're good at it, and you want to teach someone else to learn to help other people, provide it. People are teaching others. They're, obviously making money. They're teaching classes. I'm providing my services for free. And I love it. I love. I was never a teacher, but I think if you are in love with what you do, then like Leslie, I know she's here. I every time she speaks, I listen. Like I sit and just observe her information, because it really feeds the soul. So just be yourself, and yes, sometimes we'll bump over our feet, whatever, but it's okay. You just keep going, just keep trying, and you'll just get better and better. And some days are good and some days are not, so some days I'm good at being a networker and some days I suck at it. So I'm going to try to network for my son today, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, there you go. Absolutely. Because you never know where that one conversation can lead. But here's the
Yeah.
thing, and what I take away from that, because I've been there at networking events where I'm just not feeling it, and I'm just like, and everybody sees me as this confident person who can just walk out there and just, walk on. And I've spoken in front of thousands of people and all these things, but I'm still like a deer in headlamp, even walking up to one individual at an event. And I'm like, there are days where I feel like somebody needs to literally push me into the room so that I'll actually go and speak to people. And the other days I want to run in there with a cape on. And it just depends on, how you're doing. And it's okay not to seize every single moment. There are times where just being in the room and observing, that's enough. So don't, put yourself in under so much pressure that it actually does more damage than good. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that for now. Because I'm going to introduce the next speaker, because he's going to give you hell, Martha. Aren't you supposed to be on holiday?
Yeah, I'm gonna put myself on off video because I got to get Teddy his food now, and then we're gonna walk over there.
Amazing.
But
Well,
I'll
have
be here.
loads of fun.
Thank you,
Send me
everyone.
pictures of all the supercars.
I will. I will. Thank you.
Anything out of the ordinary.
I will.
Amazing. Chris, my friend, you've been so patient in the background. How are you? What's happening? And what do you have to share with us on this topic today?
Sure. So happy Saturday. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. When it comes to, networking with intentionality, I don't want to piggyback off anybody else's points or, regurgitate some things I've already said. But when I go to a networking event, one of the things that I really like to do is, kind of scan the room and observe for some of the introverts who are there, who are attending, and you could tell that they're intently paying attention to conversations. And I just go up and, say hello. And I find that a lot of the times, some of the introverts and the people who are there, they're so ready to speak about something, but they don't know how to introduce themselves. And so I'll just give them a soft open and ask a question. And then I have learned some really amazing things from some of the shyer people in the world out there. So, if you're having trouble like breaking into that conversation where there's a lot of people talking and whatever, go up to the person observing that conversation and say, what are your thoughts about what they're saying?
Oh, man. I was hoping somebody was going to bring this up because it's the quiet ones you've got to watch out for. And more often than not, those observers that have so much to offer, but they're just watching and listening. And Chris, that little valuable nugget of going over but being present to observe who is engaging, who is not, and giving that opportunity to introduce somebody to a circle or a clique that have formed where the most important person in that circle may be sitting observing it from outside, and you giving them that opportunity to step in is such a powerful thing, but also something that enables people in future networking, and they will remember that opportunity of being introduced, being brought in, because not all of us are confident enough to step in. So thank you for sharing that. I mean, I'm in fact, are you still there, Chris?
Yeah, I'm still here.
What is your what's your favorite way of being able to do that? And just, as it comes off the top of your head, when you're in a room and you see somebody maybe hanging around the drinks table or in a corner or observing from a distance outside of that little circle or clique, what's the most simplest way that you tend to bring them in?
So I listen to the conversation that's going on with like said certain clique and what the hot topic of conversation is. And if I notice somebody like watching, observing, also hearing and not speaking to someone, I just go up to them, with the limited information I have about the conversation so far. And I said, yeah, I noticed you paying attention. Like, seems like you got something to say. What's on your mind?
As simple as.
Yeah. Super wide open, don't try to nail them down to sometimes just probing opening questions where you're just asking a very broad whatever. And then, if that conversation doesn't go well and, the person was just like, oh, I disagree with it, whatever, or they're highly critical or you don't feel that they're bringing any value, it's also okay to be like, okay, well, I did my best and let me move on to the next person. So
yeah, don't shoot me for trying.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that it's literally as simple as that. A lot of the time we overthink things. And it's during that overthinking that we get shut down, as opposed to literally just taking a step. And sometimes even going and seeing what the heck is going to come out of our own mouths when we step forward. Sometimes you just got to surprise yourself and go, hi, and then see what happens next. Just step out of that comfort zone. But that opportunity to open the door to somebody else, firstly, it's going to help that person, but also it's going to facilitate more conversations from others who see that you take that step to include. So, Chris, thank you so much. We have, drum roll, she's been asking from everybody, where's the bloody link? How do I get up on stage? You're stopping me from speaking. I want to say something. And she's here. Lucia Harper, welcome everybody. If you're not connected with this lady already, dynamic, totally balmy, but in a good way. I absolutely love the energy that she brings to a room. Also, sometimes the bloody hard questions she brings to the room and then puts me in a corner, and I feel very uncomfortable because I sit there thinking, shit, that's a good question. And then I have to kind of take a breath and just sit back for a while and figure it out. But Lucia Harper, introduce yourself, share a fun fact with this room, and tell us, what do you think about networking with purpose? Like, I know you've got some gold dust to share, so over to you.
Okay, quick fun fact about me is that I have combined theater and all that it has been to me, combined with communication strategies. I've been teaching strategic networking since the dinosaurs. But here's what I want to say about introvert networking. It's a buddy system. It's always easier to introduce someone else than to introduce oneself. So I really recommend the wisdom of the wallflowers. Like, go find some wallflowers and introduce each other. And that can be the difference between a great networking event and a forgettable networking event. That is my profound advice. That works for extroverts too. Like, not everybody has the social skills to like boo into a little clique and get themselves known or whatever, but it's very easy to sort of gently say, have you met? And say something complimentary. And then that person can reverse the process and be like, no, have you met so-and-so? They're even more fabulous. So really make it a team effort. Book the event together. Plan how you're going to work the room together as buddies. If you're introverts, if you're neurodiverse. I'm a hyper-social neurodiverse, so I'm an anomaly. I love me some humans. And that is my advice. And that's how that rolls. All right.
Drop the mic. I have seen this work so powerfully. But here's the thing, is the power of compound interest. When you have two people that decide, hey, we are going to the same event together, and also knowing, hey, well, Lucia, who are you looking at? What are your goals that you want to achieve? If I come across somebody that's not necessarily in the same industry or that I'm looking for, but they are for you, then it's so easy to just go, give me a second, you have to meet, and then drag them over to that individual going, Lucia, you were talking about meet this guy because I really think you need to speak. And that could open opportunities where before you were just on your own trying to look out for yourself. That amplification in the room, but also be real about it. It's so important to really go with somebody that you know, like, and trust. And it can be so much fun if you put little creative things in there on, what kind of people you're looking for, what's the signal to kind of, hey, get me out of this conversation. If you, and we've all been in one of those where you're sitting there thinking, I've come to this event and this is where I'm going to stay for the rest of the night. And somebody help me because I'm dying here. And if you've got somebody in the room who can pick up those little signals, it's such an easy way to walk over and go, hey, can I grab her or steal her for a second? There's so many things that you can do and have fun when you go and grab a partner to go to networking. So I'd love to hear people in the comments, if you've got an event or a networking function or something coming up, go and comment below and commit to finding somebody else to go with you to that event. I know there's a lot of local networking. I mean, I ran into Lucia on an online networking event that I was invited by somebody who was based in New York, and she's in freaking Canada. Anyway, I'm losing the plot and I'm rumbling.
Matt, can I butt in for a sec?
Of course.
I want to say that too too many times people go to a networking event acting like it's not a networking event, where they think it's socially weird to just bust in and go, here's what I'm looking for, here's who I am. Everybody's there for the same reason. It's not the same social boundary as if you were at a house party or something else, or a fundraiser or whatever. If you're actually going to a networking event, then be out with your networking. Walk up to the crew, the little cliques. I love the cliques, but the wallflowers are where that's where the money is for me. Be blunt, be direct, be sweetly direct, and say, hey, I hate to bust in here, but I'm looking for X. Do you guys know any good X? And can you just point them out? I'll go meet them myself or whatever. Or can someone introduce me? Like, ask for what you need and be direct, because it's going to open the discussion. It's going to open their minds. It's going to make you memorable. They're not going to forget that you did it. Don't be afraid to wear a brightly colored shirt in the room, because what'll happen is they'll go, oh, have you met Lucia? Oh, she's over there in the red polka dots. Have you met Mac? He's over there with the fun baseball cap. Be visually differentiated so that people can point at you. I always want to be pointed at, because I'm weird and I like it. But that's really important when you're differentiating yourself. Don't go in there in beige khakis and a beige shirt and expect to be memorable. Go in wearing your logo, your company. Wear your company t-shirts, for criminy sake. It's professional looking. So, ask for what you need. I think too few of us remember why we're there. Give yourself permission to network, for criminy sake.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I am going to add one final tip in a few seconds, but Joel's finally decided to come up on screen. He's been very, quiet, just chilling over there with Bailey. So, Joel, what is your tip? Because I've seen you network a few years ago, and I've seen you network more recently, and I know that you've become a little bit more, quite competitive, and you've kind of figured out a few things for yourself that you like doing. What works for you when it comes to networking with purpose, and what tips have you got for people?
I just make things up as they go along. I'm not joking. I just roll the dice and just now walk over. You mean at Toro, Mac? Was it this year or last year? You looked around and I had vanished.
The last two times we've been over, gone. And that's the thing is you've become a lot more confident because and Joel's very similar to myself, where if you watch other people and you see what they do and how they do things, it's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And then he goes and freaking runs off and does it better than the person that he's just learned it from. And remember, not all of us are on the same level when it comes to networking, and therefore the whole Lucia idea of going with somebody else, and even if you start off the two of you going into the cliques, and picking up what the other one says and how they introduce themselves or what questions they ask, it's a weird thing, but the confidence kind of rubs off on you and you go, oh yeah, I could do that. And then you go without overthinking it, because it's that overthinking that often kills the whole process, and just stepping into that courage and going and getting it done.
Of course, this time, Mac, the music did help more as well.
Yeah. Having a set of drums over there and ruling the room, kind of does allow you to make a bit more noise. So I'm conscious we've already gone over time, but I want to finish off with a final couple of ideas that I've used for the last 4-5 years now, and have worked extremely effectively, but also surprised people. Because for those of you that have known me for more than 5 years, you would have known that I went through this very weird stage of having a very long beard, and then it was blue, and then I had no beard. And some of you none of you have known me with hair on top of my head, but when it comes to networking, one of the things that I love doing, say that again, Joel?
Say you show me a picture. I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah. Once I do that, it's just too much competition, Joel. One of the things that I've done is extremely effective, and especially if you work with a buddy system, because that's really powerful, is whenever I go to networking events, everybody who goes to networking events always leaves with the fact that, oh man, I didn't get around to get to know everybody. I missed out on speaking to all the people who were there, or everybody, or I saw this person across the room that I overheard and I wanted to get to them. And by the time I finished talking to the person who had me hostage for 30 minutes, I turned around, they were gone. So one of the things that I love doing is whenever I go to events, I'll take lots of pictures. And then what I'll do is I'll walk up, if I'm talking to, and I get into a clique, I'll say, hey guys, one of the things that I do is I'm going to be posting about this event on LinkedIn. And the reason I do that is because I know you've probably met people that I haven't, and vice versa. And I want the networking to continue post-event on LinkedIn in the comments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some pictures. You're going to send me a connection request or vice versa. And then when we connect, I'll also send you these pictures. And I did this, when I did this the first time a few years ago, I was at an event where I knew I was captured on a stand and I wasn't going to get around to speak to all the people I wanted to. And because I did this, what ended up happening is there were not only the people that actually came to the event, but the people that wanted to come to the event and missed out carried on networking in the comments going, I know so-and-so, I see you met so-and-so, I see you met so-and-so. And there were people that weren't at the event that came to me and go, I can't believe you met my best friend. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We've been in business for 20 years. And I'm like, but you've never introduced me to them. And they live on the same street as me. Like silly things like that. These are weird coincidences. So the other opportunity is also just a connecting thing for context. Because how many times have you met somebody at an event, you've got their business card, and you get home and you fan out and you make a little fan because you've got so many business cards, but you can't remember who the hell is who. So going on LinkedIn and taking a picture with that person and sending it to them and saying, hey, great meeting you at this event. It's not there so that you can tell them where you met them. It's there for context because not every person is in the right part of their journey and their business or their life to do business with you right now. But building that relationship, staying connected for when the timing is right, then all of a sudden the context picks up. So give you an example. I took a picture with a guy that I went to a networking event a few years ago. And I had a beard like way down here and it was blue. And there was a whole group of us that were chatting. And then each one of us were talking, and then he came up and he was like, I've got these 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. I've no idea what to do with them. And I've never made money from LinkedIn. And he says, but I network everywhere. And literally everywhere I go, everybody knows this guy. So I was like, hey, come here. Let's take a picture. I'm going to send it to you. We're going to have a conversation. And took the picture. A few weeks later, this guy's a serial networker. I meet him at another networking event. Now, this is after I did the whole charity shave off the beard thing. And he didn't recognize me because I had no beard. And anyway, so I just went, hold on. I'm going to send you a picture on LinkedIn. And I took a picture and he goes, somebody did this at another networking event. I went, I know it was me. And he was like, no, it wasn't. I said, check your messages. And then he saw a picture of these two different faces. And he was like, oh my goodness. And then I got invited to like 6 or 7 other events because he now had context and it was just a different conversation. And it was easy to introduce me on LinkedIn because he had a lot of connections that he didn't know how to use. And I told him who I wanted to connect with, like Lucia said. And hey, all of a sudden I'm on everybody's radar. But go and try it out. It is such an easy way of doing things. And we now have the wonderful Tom Cullen in the room, the whole way from, hey, Lucia, are you and Tom connected? Because he's in Canada. Canada's a small place. I mean, he must be just around the corner. I'm just kidding. That's what I get told every time when people go, oh, you're from Africa. You must know so-and-so. And I'm like, yeah, there are only a close to 1 billion people in Africa. Anyway, Tom, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. I just want to put a few comments in on networking with purpose.
Awesome. Go for it, Muhammad.
As some may know, I've pivoted some of my business to produce music. It's AI assisted published, of course. I write the songs. But after networking with several musicians, I decided to create something different, and create a different platform than just listening to music. So what I've done is I've invited several musicians, and some of them are going to be playing my songs, singing those songs. And the network I created was a platform, not a website anymore. So it invites artists to come and share their music, incorporate their music with the music that I'm producing and others are producing as a customized song. People can produce their own albums. Yes, it is a little self-promotion, but it's something that just came to light in the last couple of weeks. But networking with purpose to get some feedback from these people brought my site and my platform together with musicians who were also against a lot of the voices of AI. So rather than feed off their fears of AI, I brought them into the platform. They'll be able to put up their own website, they'll sell their own products, sell their own songs. It's a site, a network, a platform, however you want to point it, networking with purpose to bring them together, and gives them more exposure and another opportunity to sell their own music when people can include their music in with creating their custom album through my platform.
Well, I can 100% guarantee that you and Joel are going to have and should have a conversation, as well as some of the people that Joel has recently interviewed on his chat show may be very beneficial as well for where you're going with this, because he has these interesting, very well-connected people in the music industry in his network. So continue that purpose, and I'm hoping that we get to hear some of this soon, Tom.
Well, version 1 should be completed this weekend, but there's already 2 more versions planned for the platform. There is already a splash page up for North Kind Sound right now that's welcoming musicians versus welcoming them to North Kind Sound, welcoming them to their own area of expertise.
Well, you better be sharing those links in our comments so that we can go and share and check it out, because that's the whole, because here's the thing, is a lot of us, I got taught the very hard way when I didn't get promoted to a job that I wanted. And I think I was telling Joel about this the other day. And I was so annoyed that I wasn't promoted to a role that I thought I pretty much had. This was quite a while back. And I on the way out of the company, I called for an exit interview because I wanted to sit that director down and tell her what for. And I sat down, told her all the things I'd done, and she was like, I didn't even know about that. And other people were taking credit for it, or people just didn't know about it because they just thought the company had done it, like some ghost that just made certain things happen. And when I explained all the things that I'd done, taking the company from paper to digital and doing like all this major stuff in the background, she turned around and she went, she says, well, how was I supposed to know? And I went, I thought you would just know because I was working hard and doing all these things, and I thought maybe somebody would tell you. And she turned around and she went, well, if you don't blow your own trumpet, nobody else will. And I was like, ooh, I didn't like that comment. I was at first kind of reacted very negatively. But here's the reality. Every single one of us in this world exist. We all have a purpose. And sometimes we need to step forward and tell people where we need help, how we need help. By the way, we're working on this, so that other people can know about it. Because otherwise we'll just be the best kept secrets out there. So if we don't self-promote, it's being taught as the worst and like it's a icky, dirty thing. But every single brand name that you know out there How did they get there? Because they freaking self-promoted all day long without any guilt, and they paid for it at a rapid rate. So just because you don't have the budget doesn't mean you can not do it through our network and through leveraging connections and networking, because there's somebody out there that needs to know what it is that each one of you as an individual does, because somebody needs that service. And sometimes you may feel that you are not the expert yet, but you could still be the expert to somebody else who knows nothing about what you already know. So don't downplay your value in life. I don't know why, but I felt I needed to share that, and it is what I'm going to leave you with today. I'm rambling again, but hopefully that has meant something to all of you.
And you feared I was going to talk too much.
Say that again?
You feared I was going to talk too much.
Joe, my AI already complains because I go, hey, I want to say something in 5 sentences, and then I spend the next 10 minutes telling her what I want in those 5 sentences. Anyway, this is me, unfiltered. I wish you all a wonderful Saturday. As we wrap up, everybody on stage, and David Pushkin, you're not hiding, my friend. I know you're there. I want everybody to just finish off with one final sentence. I don't care if it's self-promoting, if it's just something that you want to say about networking with purpose, but whatever comes to mind for you right now that you feel you need to share. And I'm also going to remind you that we have session 2 next week of Alan Kleinhans, where we shared the mental health for men, as well as unbottling. Why do men bottle up their emotions? We're having version 2 talking about your mental health next week, and also just owning your purpose. And it's going to be a powerful session. So I will be posting about that soon. So I'm not going to stop talking if that is at all possible. And I am going to pass the mic to David Pushkin. And then, David, you choose, after you, if you can choose, Joel's not looking at the screen, so pick him, and we'll just pick on him.
That's right, volume told. Yeah, great. Another great Social Saturday chat. You know, again, we've had it's a beautiful tapestry of a conversation. You know, I think when it comes to this whole network, my final thing on this is, you know, I always forget what the poem is, but basically it's all about, you know, we fear more of our light than our dark. You know, we're born to be great. You know, there's that one conversation, that one thing. Don't diminish yourself. Encourage yourself. I'll yield the mic there. Joel, where are you, my friend?
Where you left me.
Okay. You're next, mate. You're next.
I was just having a nosy around Tom's website. I wasn't not looking at the screen. I was nosying on Tom's website. This week, trying not to die in the heat or the humidity. And nothing special happening this week for me apart from hopefully being slightly earlier next week for Social Saturday Chat if I can get my business call to shut up after half an hour. Apart from that, I'll see you all next week. Nothing from me. I can deal with that now.
Pick the next person, Joel.
Oh.
Who's going to be the victim here?
I normally go that way, but that way closes the room. So I think I'll go to Tom next.
Tom, it's over to you, my friend.
I just want everybody to have an awesome weekend. Enjoy the rest of the week as well. Yes, I hope some of you get a chance to check out the site, the platform that's being developed. It's inspiring to know that there are musicians out there that are willing to, we'll use the term lightly, play nice if they see something of benefit to themselves. There are a lot of people that are against what I'm doing, but there are a lot more that are learning that networking with purpose can bring it all together. So that's what I would like to say.
There's a process and a flavor for everybody out there, Tom. Some people don't like pizza, and hey, I don't hate them for it, but that's their problem. So just you do you, and the right people will come.
Exactly.
Make sure you share that link, though, because I haven't seen it shared yet.
I did share it. It's there.
Okay. I can't multitask, clearly. Tom, who's next?
He shared it in the private chat.
Yeah, don't share it in the private chat. Share it on the main chat.
I thought I had done that.
Oh, I'm gonna. In fact, I'm gonna go with Joe, and then we're gonna wrap up with Lucia with some infinite wisdom. No pressure. Joe, go for it.
Pass. Oh, boy, you really wanted to go that way because you just blew up her ego. That's why I said pass. Hard pass. No, I'm going to use the wisdom from what was the name of that stupid movie of Master Poe? Cartoon movie itself, animated with an actual. What was the name of the animal itself? Chinese animal, and I forget the name of it.
Panda. Kung Fu Panda.
Panda, thank you. Kung Fu Panda. The wisdom of that turtle still applies. Because being present, it is a gift. Be present. It might be an old movie, but that wisdom is timeless. Don't take life for granted. Exactly. On that, I pass to her.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Here's what I want to say. Mac was whining and complaining about, maybe it was us, about how much he talks. I want to say that you need to be leveraging your enthusiasm for your subject matter. Be a subject matter artist. Go on a rant. Prepare a rant. Think about what you want to say when you have the attention of the little clique at the networking event, or somebody is stupid and lets you go on mic like me right now. But be enthusiastic. Be proud of your enthusiasm. Get your subject matter geek on as often as possible, not to the detriment of social blah, 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 but get it on. Take your quirks to work. Let your personality out and your enthusiasm out. Nobody wants to hear another effing elevator pitch. Nobody. That's dead. Talk about your project. Oh my God, you guys, I'm working on this thing. You got to know about it. And then tell them why it's just good for humanity at large. Screw their niche. Why is it good for humanity at large for them to give a crap about your little dumb project? Be enthusiastic. Be brave. Get on a brave stage. Oh, little plug for me.
There we go. I tell you what, that whole brave thing coupled coupled with passion. Oh man, all day long can you listen to somebody who actually gives a crap about what they're talking about. But when it's just about, freaking hell, I'm at another networking thing, my boss sent me, I don't want to be here, can I go now, what's for lunch? Show up and just, life's too short. Go out there, seize the day, have some fun. And if you don't want to seize the day, that's also okay. Just step back and observe and see what you take away. Everybody, much love. Social Saturday over. We shall see you next Saturday. Make sure that you are following our company page. And if you need some help with LinkedIn, you know where to go. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Good day, A.
Good day, A.
Oh my God, it really went Canadian.